All right, Sarah, let's take a look at your essay. So, we haven't talked about MLA format, but I did put this into double space format just so it's easier for me to go through. And I will tell you, so far, taking a look at this, it looks like your writing is pretty good. The thing I want to challenge you on is you can definitely incorporate a lot more writing into this, and I think you are capable of making your paragraphs longer for a better essay overall. So let's look at this real quick. Euthanasia promises a way for someone to abide to a quick, dignified, and compassionate death. Good. Although some may consider mercy killings unethical, many find it acceptable to end an animal's suffering, and people should be allowed to die with self-respect. The only thing I think is a little bit awkward is the way you use this conjunction. I think the conjunction so would make it better because you're saying, well, because of this, this should happen. So by extension, this should happen. So I don't think this is the right coordinating conjunction because you want to show a relationship, and I think the word so does it better. And then this is what I think can make your introduction longer, is to retweak this a little bit. Is it morally right? You have the wrong word. Is it morally right to end unwanted suffering? Um, this is pretty good because it's a little bit vague, but I think you need a little bit more explanation of what euthanasia and mercy killing is in between these two sentences because I think that will make it a little bit more clear. Because this is actually a pretty good question that even though it's um, the answer could be yes or no, you have a moral obligation question, which those are tricky. And then you say this unwanted suffering, so it's different than saying something like, should you die if you are in pain? That's a completely different question. The way that you phrased it is a lot better. I think you just need to add some length into your body paragraph for this to make more sense. But with that being said, you continue that on into your body paragraph by talking about pet owners to euthanize their animals because of these reasons, supported by veterinarians, and then you extend that to mice and men. And it brings pet owners solace as they do not have to watch an animal die a slow, painful death. So overall, this is pretty good to get you started. What I would like to see um, for this one in particular is some more analysis related to human euthanasia in this first paragraph, because that will make your paragraph a lot stronger because you're tying it in. Because overall, you're looking at mercy killing and euthanasia in humans. So even though this is a real good start with explaining, this is kind of the animal process of this, and this is how we see it in here. And especially because you talk about it in your thesis, right? People should be allowed to die with self respect. Tie that back into how humans should be allowed those same opportunities. Other than that, I don't have any grammar things, but I will say is this right here in the novel of Mice and Men written by John Steinbeck. As you write more and more papers, let me go down here. A better way to do this that we will work on as it goes through, because it saves up some paper space, is you could say, in John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. And that just makes it shorter. It's a better way to introduce it, especially at times where if you have a longer body paragraph, it really helps out in the flow of your paper. So John Steinbeck's novel of Mice and Men, you will get rid of basically almost half your sentence there. Moving on to your next body paragraph, Dr. Jack Kevorkian, an American pathologist, helped assist suicides in over 120 patients. Right to die, you do have a spacing concern here. Interviewed intensely, competent and stable, and then this is all pretty good. So this is all extending to what you've talked about before with self-respect and dignity with Kevorkian, and these are some specific examples of how Kevorkian ran his practice. And then you have a quick snapshot into George caring for Lenny and how he shot him in the back of the head to save them from suffering, and it's equivalent to Kevorkian's method. So this is pretty good. What I would say is, if you look at this, let me show you this and then I'll get rid of it. If we have the yellow and then the green, yellow and the blue, not green. The yellow, this is all kind of evidence-based, and then this is your analysis. And I think you could throw in some analysis right here to balance it up a little bit, or yeah, right here. Because you could talk about dying with self-respect and dignity. You could talk about Kevorkian's methods being ethical because the patients had a say in whatever it is, and they got to choose. It's not like it was some kind of random thing happening. But overall, this paragraph, I think you could just benefit from some more analysis, because you're very heavy in the evidence here, but you need some more analysis to it. Okay. And then you just have some spacing concerns for the grammar and mechanics of here. But again, I'm not seeing too much other grammar issues, so that's good. And then let's move into your last body paragraph. Suffering is part of life and part of life's experience. New medications are constantly developed and improved, helping a person's quality of life and making their deaths, this should be plural instead of possessive, as painless as possible. The right to a chosen death is not something our legal system has accepted. Laws are deciding the morals that exist in society today. So overall, this is a good start for your opposing side. And you set it up in a way that I haven't seen yet, which is really good. The problem is you don't refute it. So the key thing with your opposing paragraph is you want to do it in a way that sets it up as, here's the opposition, here's what they think, here's a little bit of analysis with it, and then go back and say, well, they're wrong, and here's why. So when you talk about laws deciding the morals that exist today, I think that is a perfect segue to talk into the moral aspect of it and transition into how we should change our morals, because this really is ethical and we need to see it as an ethical way. So coming to your conclusion, pet owners choosing to euthanize terminally injured animals, persons' choice to self-respect death show that mercy kills are ethical, even though some people are against them. Good repeating the thesis with what you have. Yes, it's illegal, but many people believe they shouldn't be subjected to pain and suffering when medical treatment will no longer help extend a life. So, overall, your paragraphs are pretty good. You have some good evidence and analysis. I think it's in that last body paragraph. You could have a little bit more. Well, you do need more with your own side, and you need some analysis within your first body paragraph, but overall this is a pretty good essay. It gets you a good start. I think you could extend your writing. Your writing style is really good. I think you could just use a little bit more integration and some of the things that I talked about with you, and you will be on your way to a much better paper.